Chimo wrote a really great article, PFF_Moo, if you're curious, about what the Redskins should do. And one of the really interesting things that he brings up that we have talked about a bunch is the possibility of choosing between two quarterbacks, whichever one works out, right? And this is something that teams are just like very reticent to do. But it's something that for the Redskins, particularly because you just don't know that much about Dwayne Haskins, is worth doing, right? And if you can pick the best one out of that group, you're in a better spot than if you take Chase Young. But the Bengals don't really have that opportunity, right? You know, so to me, it's very interesting if the Bengals were to trade down and, you know, then the possibility of taking Tua goes away. Are you just saying to yourself, well, we actually we're tanking again, right? Is that really what the trade down says? And in that case, like, I really would need a Godfather offer because I would rather take Burrow now, and if it really doesn't work out, take another quarterback the next year, exactly as a team like the Cardinals or the Redskins could do.
Yeah, the hard part is that there's a couple different ways. There's a couple reasons why the quarterback makes sense here. First off, it makes your team have a better chance of winning, right? Moo tweeted out, and it was great. He talked about this, was having two quarterbacks in a position where only one plays curbs the left side of the distribution. Like, because both guys have to suck for you to completely lose at that position. So it curbs uncertainty in one direction. But it also you're also trying to sell tickets. And I'm sorry, like, Chase Young does not sell tickets, right? Isaiah Simmons doesn't sell tickets unless you got a quarterback, right? And so there's another point of it, whereas, like, you got to generate excitement. Also, bad quarterbacks don't help you develop your team, right? Like we talked about, you know, how having Ryan Fitzpatrick in there was a good way to tank because at least he was good enough to throw on-target passes to receivers you're trying to figure out about, right?
Sure.
So there's so much, like, I don't like the trade back from one unless it's a humongous offer because you just send a message that, yeah, I know this last season was painful, and we had to watch Ryan Finley play for like 3 freaking games, and it was garbage. But
this one's going to be worse.
This one's going to be worse, but I promise you next year. Because here's the thing about Trevor Lawrence.
You don't know.
You don't freaking know. Because if Justin Herbert would have come out last year, where would he have been drafted?
Right.
A lot freaking higher than where he's drafted here. Did you watch the national championship game? Trevor Lawrence is a good prospect. He was horseshit in that game. He was bad in that game.
Yeah. No,
how do we know? We don't know.
That's why, to me, it's a very different. Talking about the Bengals trading down versus the Redskins or the Lions is just like it's a totally different mindset, and that's why if I'm the Bengals, there's basically no way that I'm trading out of that spot. Then you go to the Redskins and you go to the Lions, and it's very interesting. The odds to draft Tua, Caesars put them out, and the co-favorites are the Dolphins and the Lions. And a lot of people thought we were kind of crazy for talking about how the Lions should take Tua. We both also think that the Redskins should take Tua, but they seem to be, you know, totally there's no way. So then he falls to the Lions, and I just can't. I keep coming back to this makes too much sense, and it forces also the Dolphins now to think about trading up to try and get them.
Here's a question about the Lions people, because we've gotten a lot of messages about what this how can you say the Detroit Lions are a worst to first candidate and also say they should draft Tua? Do we think a player, what is one non-quarterback in this draft that's going to be worth even a win to the Detroit Lions next year? And does that win matter? Because here's the thing. If the Lions are the same team, a 1-win corner isn't going to matter. Who gives if they're 4-11-1 or 4-12 or 5-11? Who cares, right? Like, you got to get out of that basin even to get to 8, 9, 10 wins for the one win that Denzel Ward offered the Browns would have mattered. Or
this was the point we made with the Raiders, though, right? So, like, Khalil Mack, is he a nice asset to have when you're trying to go from 9 to 10 wins?
Right.
Absolutely. But when you're a team that's going to win between 3 and 7 games, him being that great of a player actually just hurts your draft pick the next year, and he's not he doesn't play a position that allows his greatness to catapult you into a position where you're a Super Bowl contender. Similarly for the Lions, that this situation that you're looking at over the next few years is dependent on either Matt Stafford having a glorious return, right? Or you're saying, actually, now we're moving on, and we're moving on to a guy that we currently know is a top prospect. You don't know anything about where you'll be next year. This may be your only shot over the next few years to actually get a guy that could be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, because if Stafford falls off and can't play again, who gives it? Like,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Jeffrey Okudah at corner or Chase Young, should he fall there, are not making a difference. They're not. If you are starting David Blau, you are winning 3 games.
Exciting. Yep. No, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. All right. Let's close out with some draft props and a little XFL week 3. The only draft prop that I saw that was actually remotely interesting so far was over under number of quarterbacks drafted in the first round. And it's at 4.5.
I already bet the under.
Okay. So did I. 4.5. So I guess if you put it, you're saying Herbert's going in the first round. You obviously have the 2 guys we talked about. And then you still need one other guy to go in the first round in order for you to get to 4.
Right. So the clear one, the clear favorites are Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, and then the 2 actual first round picks. But then you're talking, okay, Jacob Eason, Jake Fromm, Anthony Gordon's not going in the first round, even though he's probably better than Herbert and Love. So, like, this is the Mason Rudolph question all over again, right? Like 2 years ago when Rudolph was a guy who teams were like, maybe,
Yeah. I'm with you. I think the under is a smart move here, especially because we've seen the narratives for these guys. Some of them skyrocket, but I have a hard time seeing Jordan Love, like the love for Jordan Love, to be perfectly honest, really catch a ton of fire just because there's so much else to talk about in this draft. And so I'm not sure that it will skyrocket in a way that says, okay, well, now Jordan Love is going to get pushed, to a top 15 pick, and the team that would have taken him in the 20s is like, well, screw it, we got to take.
And you know why?
Take somebody.
And you know why? Under's minus 150, and it should be. I mean, the reason why under is also a good bet is because of all the free agent quarterbacks that are
true.
So like there are tons, like the team that signs Jameis is going to be convinced that Jameis is their quarterback for another year and a half, and they're going to probably prefer a Jacob Eason in the second. The fact that Drew Lock,
a first round pick on him,
the fact that Drew Lock lasted until pick 40 or something last year, I think is emblematic of where maybe the smart teams are sort of thinking about these second tier QBs, when it's like, yeah, we'll put an investment in you, but we're going to wait till round 2 or 3. We're going to send our quarterback a message, but we're not going to draft the guy in the first round because it comes like even like the 10 through 32. The message is that guy's going to start for my team relatively soon. And if you sign a guy like Tannehill, like you don't want to send that message to him. Jameis, I mean, the older guys, Rivers and Brady, maybe, but even then, Brady's not the kind of guy who's going to come in and be like, yeah, I'm going to start here for a year. No, he wants to play for 3 more years.
You brought up this point yesterday, and I thought it was great. You're either a guy that's getting picked in the top 10, or you're probably getting reached on.
Yeah.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.